7 Strategies for Wealth and Happiness by Jim Rohn. Advice from a self-made millionaire can help you get started on the road to success. Are money problems a constant source of stress for you? Do you feel like success is out of reach and only exists in your dreams? If so, you aren't the only one. When the author, Jim Rohn, dropped out of college and started working as a human resource manager, he felt the same way. Even though he worked hard for 6 years, he stayed in the same job and got the same pay. But things changed when he met Earl Schoaf, who became his teacher. Under Schoaf's guidance, he learned how to use discipline and hard work to build wealth in a smart way. By using them, he made $1 million by the time he was 31. Wealth and success can mean different things to different people, but the 7 strategies from the book can help you reach any financial goal, whether it's becoming a millionaire or getting out of debt. So let's get started. You'll learn how buying dinner for a rich person can help you, why paying your taxes should be fun, and what it means to have a 2-quarter mindset. Setting clear goals will help you be more disciplined and give you a plan. Think about the last time you reached one of your goals or finished one of the things on your list. What happened in the next step? Another task always came up to take its place. Even though this may be annoying, it's good in the long run. You shouldn't have just one goal at a time, because once you reach it, you might feel lost and without a purpose. Think about how the Apollo astronauts' lives changed after their trip to the moon. Several of the astronauts got depressed because they had nothing left to work toward. As part of their required training, astronauts now set goals for what they want to do when their missions are over. You should have goals as well. To get started, you need to give yourself time to work on them. Try the following journaling exercise to help you see your long-term goals and start thinking about how to reach them. Grab a notebook and think about what you want to do in the next 1 to 10 years. Then, make a list of these goals as soon as you can. Try to score about 50 goals altogether. When you're done making your list, put each goal into one of 4 groups based on how long you think it will take to reach it: 1, 3, 5, or 10 years. Next, make sure that your list is balanced and that you don't have too many goals in any one category. Take things out of categories with too many goals and add new ones to ones with too few. Then, circle each category's 4 most important goals. Now you should have a total of 16 goals. The last step is to write 1 paragraph for each goal. Explain the goal of each paragraph in the first half of each one. For example, if it's a product you want to buy, write down the model, color, price, and any other important information. Then, write down why you want to reach each goal in the second half of the paragraph. If you can't come up with a good enough reason, this goal might not be worth your time. If so, you might want to think about replacing it with a different goal. After you've changed your list, you can look at it again to see how you're doing and to decide which goals are still important to you and which ones aren't. Self-directed learning is the key to getting ahead in life and making money. People don't expect to be successful in most fields without studying and practicing for years. Take medicine. No one would try a triple bypass surgery before spending years learning about the heart. So, how could someone expect to be rich and successful without learning things like how to manage money or run a business? You don't have to go to college and spend a lot of time and money to learn how to make more money. Instead, you can do it by learning on your own. One way to start is to learn from the things that happen to you every day. Set aside time at the end of each day to think about yourself. Try to remember as much as you can about each important thing that happened. In particular, try to remember what you did that worked or didn't work very well. This will show you what to do again and what to stay away from. You can also use books, videos, and audio recordings to help you learn on your own and figure out how to be successful. Look for books about successful people's lives and how to do things, like the classic Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. You are bound to have questions as you read the advice of successful people. So why not ask someone who can give you good answers to those questions? Find someone you think is rich and successful and invite them to dinner. This might seem like the wrong thing to do. Yes, that means you have to pay, which could be a lot of money. But the cost will be worth it if you make good use of your time and ask questions about how to make more money. The more time you spend with successful people, the better off you will be. So, try going to talks or seminars to see how people you look up to act. Look closely at small things, like how a businesswoman shakes hands. You can copy the habits of successful people if you can figure out what they are. No matter how you choose to get knowledge, it's worth your time and money. Set aside at least 30 minutes a day and a small amount of money each month to learn. Why? Because you can use what you learn to invest in your future, and a few dollars here and there add up quickly. Get rid of the things that are stopping you from growing as a person and increasing your value. How many times have you told yourself, I can't be on time because that's just how I am? Or, I'm a messy person and I can't help it. Even though these are common things to say, they hurt our self-esteem and make us feel like we can't change our natural tendencies. But in reality, one of the few things you can change is yourself. And when you work on yourself, you become a better employee, friend, or partner. People look for ways to make their lives better, but they don't want to work on making themselves better. For example, you could negotiate with your boss or even go on strike to get a pay raise. But at the end of the day, these methods can only get you so far. Soon, you'll want another raise. What if, instead, you worked harder, did a better job, and learned new skills that made you more valuable to the company? Your boss would want to raise your pay because of this. Even better, you might be able to use the skills you learn in this process in jobs other than the one you have now. To start increasing your value, you should first get rid of things that are getting in the way of your personal growth. One of the worst barriers is putting things off. Self-improvement is all about setting and reaching your own goals, but it's all too easy to put off the hardest parts of working toward those goals until a long time from now. And because tasks you put off add up, it doesn't take long for you to get behind on your plans. Blaming others and making excuses are also things that stop people from getting better. When something goes wrong, it's much easier to blame someone else than to admit that the problem is with yourself. But when you do this, you stop yourself from getting better. After all, if your failures aren't really your fault, there's no reason for you to take responsibility for them and try to make sure they don't happen again. When you're trying to improve yourself, keep in mind that it's often best to take small steps. For example, if you want to start being on time, try setting your alarm a few minutes earlier each day. Before you know it, you'll have enough time in the morning to take your time eating breakfast and not have to rush out the door. Try these small tasks in any area you want to get better at. Your successes will make you want to work harder and get over even bigger obstacles. If you change the way you think about taxes and follow the 70-30 rule, you'll be happier and have more money. When most people hear the word taxes, they think of endless forms, figuring out expenses and deductions, and having parts of their income taken away. Even worse, taxes can feel like a wrong. You might wonder, why shouldn't I get to keep all the money I've worked for? Even the author asked himself this question when he was just starting out. But Earl Schoaf, who was his mentor, told him to become a happy taxpayer. Why? He said this is because how you feel about money is just as important as how you spend it. A more positive outlook can help you feel less frustrated and more in charge of your finances, so you won't feel like cursing the government for taking your money. To get in this frame of mind, think of paying taxes as a way to help the government make life better for everyone. In exchange for some of your money, you get safety, freedom, and the chance to do well. Ready to go one step further with this change of mind? Try to see the good in everything you have to pay for. When you have to buy something, for example, you put your money into circulation and help the economy. And every time you pay your bills, your debts and liabilities go down. After you've paid your taxes and feel better about it, it's time to look at your net income. You should use the 70-30 rule here. The idea is easy to grasp. You can spend up to 70% of your monthly income on things like rent, food, and fun. But before you spend any of that money, here's how to split the other 30%. First, give away 10% of your income to charity to give back to your community and help people who are struggling. Then, put another 10% into savings so that you can build up money over time. Lastly, use the last 10% to make more money. There are traditional ways to do this, like putting money into real estate. But there are also non-traditional ways to make money, like making money from a hobby. If you follow the 70-30 rule and think more positively, you won't have to worry about spending your hard-earned money. Plan carefully to make the best use of your time. How do you keep work and life in balance? Are you a drifter, someone who doesn't want to be told what to do with his time and only wants short-term jobs? Or are you a workaholic who spends all of their time working? You might be in the middle, working from 9 to 5 but not willing to take on projects that take more time. As you might have guessed, none of these are the best way to do things. You don't have to choose between being successful and having a lot of work to do or being average and having time to relax. In reality, you need to make time for everything in your life, including working hard, spending time with family, and even doing nothing. When you spend too much time on one of these, your life becomes unbalanced, which isn't good for you in the long run. Take a salesman who decides to go into business for himself. He gets his idea off the ground, but soon he realizes that as CEO he spends a lot more time at the office than he ever did as an employee. He gets to work earlier and stays later than even the people who clean the office. Soon, He decides that running his own business isn't worth it, so he goes back to a regular job. So, how do you make sure your time stays balanced and is used well? It's important to get and stay organized. Make a project book or a binder with tabs to keep track of everything. With this useful tool, you can keep all of your important documents in one place so you don't have to spend hours looking for the one you need. You can use your project book in any way that makes the most sense for you. For example, if you work with people, you can make a tab for each person and write down information about their work, their strengths and weaknesses, or their family history. Then, you can look at it whenever you need to, like during reviews of your work. Planning each day before it starts is another important way to manage your time. If you don't have a master plan, how will you make sure your time is balanced and you're on track to meet your deadlines? This is why you need a calendar with a lot of space for each day of the week so you can write down your plans. Make sure you have time each day to do nothing. Getting organized and sticking to a schedule every day takes a lot of discipline, especially if you're used to handling your time more casually. But if you work hard, you'll see that you don't have to give up one part of your life for another. Spend your time with the right kind of people. Let's face it, our friends usually have an effect on us, whether we know it or not. If you hang around people who are careless with their money, for example, you might find yourself spending frivolously as well. Or if your friends go out to see sports matches every weekend, chances are you'll end up tagging along. Those scenarios might not sound so bad, but what if your friends have habits that are more destructive than these? In that case, you might end up adopting similarly harmful habits. For instance, if you surround yourself with liars and cheaters, you might begin to see their behaviors as the norm. And before you know it, you might find yourself lying and cheating too. It's hard to admit that our friends could be bad influences. But if you're honest with yourself, you can deal with these relationships before they do any serious damage. Start by thinking about the main relationships in your life, and ask yourself a few fundamental questions. With whom do you spend your time? What are they doing to you? Are these associations okay with you? Be honest, and don't dismiss the powerful influence your friends and acquaintances may have on you. If you've answered these questions and identified some less than stellar relationships in your life, you'll need to make some tough choices about how to proceed. If you're dealing with destructive people, one option is to disassociate from them entirely. Or, if that's impossible, try limited association, spending as little time with them as possible. While you're doing that, you should also make sure you aren't spending excessive time on casual relationships that aren't contributing anything valuable to your life. While you might enjoy spending a few nights a week at the bar with your friends, for example, this habit eats away at your time. After you've culled the negative relationships from your life, the next step is to make the most of the positive relationships. Here, you want to have expanded association. That means spending more time with people who are disciplined and determined to succeed, anyone whose mindset will affect you positively. The best way to broaden your circle is to get involved in your community. Join a committee, for example, and you may find yourself invited to play tennis with some influential people in your city. Figure out how to be happy no matter how much money you have. We often hear stories of ultra-rich celebrities and business people who are deeply unhappy despite their wealth. How is that possible, when they've reached the peak of success? Unfortunately, although these people have amassed huge fortunes, they likely never learned how to be satisfied with what they have. While many people already agree with the adage that money can't buy happiness, they still assume that more money will make them more confident, charismatic and generous. But in reality, money can change neither your character nor your satisfaction with life. If you're unhappy and insecure now, chances are those qualities won't just disappear if you become wealthy. For instance, imagine someone who tends to drink too much at social gatherings. What would happen if that person's wealth increased? He wouldn't just stop drinking. Likely, the extra money would just let him buy limitless amounts of alcohol, worsening his habit. Fortunately, there's a bright side to this theory. If you develop a fulfilling lifestyle now, it will stay with you regardless of the size of your bank account. And a powerful way to increase your fulfillment is by shifting to a two-quarter mentality. To illustrate this way of thinking, the author's mentor once told him to imagine getting his shoes shined. The person giving the shine has done an excellent job, and now you must decide what to tip him, 1/4 or 2. Which one will make you feel better in the long run? If you tip 1/4, you'll save money, but you'll probably end up feeling like a bit of a Scrooge afterward. By being generous and tipping 2/4, however, you'll feel prosperous and confident. A man who attended one of the author's seminars was inspired by the idea of opting for generosity over stinginess. In the past, whenever his daughters begged him for money to buy concert tickets, he would either say no or give in very reluctantly. He was stuck in a 1/4 mindset. However, After the seminar, he decided to surprise his daughters with tickets to see their favorite group. This generous two-quarter decision ended up benefiting both the girls and their father, who was rewarded by seeing his children's joy and excitement. So, adopt a two-quarter mindset and you can feel rich without necessarily being rich. And if you decide to start being more generous now, just think of all the good you'll be able to achieve when you're wealthier and more successful. What are the conclusions? Wealth and happiness don't materialize out of nowhere. Obtaining them requires careful discipline and planning. However, once you've put in the effort required to start achieving your goals, you'll reap the rewards for the rest of your life. What you should do to put what you've learned to use. Create a game plan. To make effective use of your time and move your goals forward each week, create a game plan in advance. First, find a sheet of graph paper. Create vertical columns with the days your plan is going to cover, then make a heading on the left called Activities. List everything you need to accomplish during those days. For each task, determine the deadline and plot it on the sheet. Then calculate how many days it will take to accomplish and block those days out. Your game plan will then be ready for action, and your path to success will just be a matter of sticking to it. Thanks for watching.